Hello everyone. May the 3rd today, 2022. And it's been quite an interesting ride since the partial solar eclipse a few days ago. It seems we're really moving in a much faster pace. Things are coming together in a magical way. There's so many coincidences. I mean, coincidence is really the wrong word. Synchronicities is much better. It's the resonance field which is getting so strong, and a beautiful example are the latest two big solar flares. Excuse me. So the Sun-Uranus conjunction is just about 30 hours away or so. A little more than that. This will be a critical moment. This is the heliocentric chart of this moment, and we get deeper into this just in a short while. Just want to show you one first synchronicity. So this is Greenwich 0 meridian, and this is the exact degree overhead in 36 hours. In Greenwich, the crown. Now look at this latest solar flare for Kiev, and it has exactly this ascendant. The sun is a conscious being. I keep repeating myself on that, and I want to show you. This is the graph of the latest two solar flares. That's the one I just showed you the chart of. This was 12 hours earlier, an X1.1 flare. Now listen to this. I just wrote this here in my little blog on Facebook. We had two strong solar flares in less than 12 hours. The X1.1 at 1:25 p.m. Today on May 3rd, Universal Time, and the M53, the one I just showed you. These two flares erupted from a sunspot yet to be catalogued at the sun's eastern horizon, rotating into Earth view. Actually, if we look onto the sun, that is measured at 88 degrees eastern longitude. And interestingly enough, this is exactly mirroring April 30th solar flare of exactly the same magnitude, also a X1.1 it was, which erupted at 88 degrees western longitude, just of that last final goodbye of that big sunspot group 2993, 2994, which was dominant, which as it went over the 2-week period, it faced Earth, produced a whole series of huge flares, and that was the final one. And here we go, just a few days later, another sunspot group emerges, and exactly mirroring the 88, and the 88 is a power number, both X1.1 flares. There is some real magic in these numbers. Yes, the sun is a conscious being. We are in resonance with the sun, hence it's our collective consciousness that is expressing through the sun, and it's a chaotic, unpredictable action, you could call it. And that's why it's most interesting, as it really shows the creation in progress. So I just zoom in here once more on this chart. This was that last flare just a couple hours before I'm recording this. That's when the flare erupted, and again it's that electromagnetic pulse, that strong radiation which usually fries the Earth's upper atmosphere, causing radio blackouts, infusing Earth's field, Earth's atmosphere with a tremendous amount of energy, that flash, and it's really like a gigantic lightning bolt. That's how you have to see it, which is electrifying the whole field. That's these moments of inserting this solar frequency at the super magnified level. So this is the chart for Kiev, and I found that super interesting. Again, the moon here at the 4th house cusp. And again, look at this 141 Pisces rising, which will be the degree of the Uranus Sun conjunction here over Greenwich at the 0 meridian. Now let me take you one step further. I hope I have the right chart here. No, that's not the one. Let me see which one it was which I wanted to show you next here. I'm having, as usually, too many charts open. Okay, so let me just search it quickly. Okay. Okay, well, I don't find it. Never mind. But let's just quickly go back to the start here of my lineup. This was the one I talked about, the April 30th 1.1 flare. And look at the similar setup of the chart, almost same as this one of today. I think that's the one here. See if I get it right. Yes, that's the one of today. You see it's almost same degrees. This is the heliocentric chart here with Earth at 1306 Scorpio, always opposing the Sun. And here we had the 12 degree Virgo rising, and here the Sun at 1012 Taurus. That's now the geocentric chart naturally. And this was just hours before the solar eclipse, kind of getting it ready. And then this was another interesting moment. That is a Mercury return. That is actually when Mercury was exactly at that spot where it will have its conjunction with the Sun on, I guess it's the 21st of May, which will be the inferior conjunction. So this is a super powerful degree. I should show you quickly the chart. I have it open here so you see what I'm talking about. Just give me one sec. So this is again a resonance chart. Here we have, here it is. Just will take a second to pop up here. Where are you? That takes an awful long time here. Let's do it again. Okay, here we go. So, no, I'm not clicking the correct chart. That's the return, right? See, as usual, I have too many charts open. This is the one, right? Yes, May 21. That's what I said. At 0:43 Gemini, that is when Sun, Earth, and Mercury will be exactly in one line, when Mercury will be exactly between Sun and Earth. So this was the moment when Mercury started this loop. Mercury will go direct for another 10 days from this moment on, then turn retrograde on the 10th, and then go backward and meet here with the Sun and Earth at the 0:43. So I found it pretty interesting that this also was just actually less than an hour before the exact eclipse maximum. Actually, already the eclipse was in progress, so that makes that inferior conjunction super important, and I show you also why. This will be the geometry here with 25 Scorpio rising, when Sun and Mercury exactly line up, and guess what the eclipse chart looks like. I found that pretty impressive. So this is the partial solar eclipse at maximum as it showed itself in Greenwich again at the 0 meridian. Here you see Sun and Moon, and you see the Moon is actually already 7 minutes of arc past the Sun when the eclipse reaches its maximum, or reached its maximum, I should say. So this is always a little bit off from the exact lunation. That means new moon or full moon when the eclipse peaks, because Earth is always a little bit off center to the two celestial bodies in that sense. So the maximum eclipse is either a little before or a little after new moon in this event here with the solar eclipse naturally. So this is interesting in that sense that the total eclipse was after new moon, already within the new cycle. That means it's a real beginning of something new, whereas when an eclipse has its maximum short before new moon, this is usually a closing event in a bigger historical way. So in a way we are now really opening the door into a new room. That's what this eclipse was all about. Okay, let me just turn the light on 1 second. Okay, that was funny, very Uranian. We have here this a growing tower here behind me with, for our hydroponic system, and that turns itself off at a certain hour, and that just happened. So then I'm in a blackout. Anyway, very Uranian. So you see there is some interesting stuff going on, and I want to also throw one more chart in here. I know it always gets a little too long with these recordings, but I can't help. I should show you quickly this chart too, because I know I won't make a separate video. It's just yeah, either I'm on it or I'm not. So this is the one I want to show you, and I will do it that way. Okay, so this is the full moon eclipse, the total lunar eclipse of May 16. You see again the same degrees, and now the lunar eclipse will have its peak moment, center eclipse, when Sun and Moon are exactly within the Greenwich horizon. I find that super, super interesting. We had actually that same geometry already at the last full moon of April 16. You can go back to my recording on that one and you will see it. So these are remarkable times, and again you see these same degrees we have in the solar eclipse of April 30th, then in reverse the lunar eclipse, and then when Mercury will have its inferior conjunction. There is a typo here, there is one too many letters in here, sorry. Okay, so you see the bigger picture, this 25th degree, 26th degree, Scorpio and Taurus are super empowered, and that's actually where a fixed star Algol is. So this is a little bit ominous. Algol is a dark energy, but it is that time in our history where we have to face the demons, and I guess that's what we are up to here. Now, let's get here more into events and how that could manifest. I mean, first of all, and foremost, my job in astrology is I want to show you the energies as they are without giving too much interpretations. And I might not be the best at interpreting these aspects, but I'm definitely showing you the synchronicities and the repetitions, and you can then figure it out yourself to some degree. I always try to give hints. I mean, this solar flare here had Mars and Australia here at the 7th house cusp, which gave a clear hint, yes, it's time to start the cleanup, whatever that means in our personal lives or collectively. It is rolling one's sleeves back and getting involved and acting on our emotional awareness, what we perceive in our environment, and being true to ourselves. That's pretty much in a nutshell. And let's now see what the global events are showing. So, I'm jumping a little bit here from one thing to the next, but I think it is important to look at world events, and that is what I found today. What are the EU's chances of surviving without Russian gas? That's a big question. Probably not every one of you is aware that Russia, in spite of being under these sanctions from the whole Western world, has been sending its energy, its gas, still to all the European nations. However, now Poland and Bulgaria have been cut off after they refused to pay in rubles. And let me see, that's okay. I have to open the thing. I guess I cannot do it that way. I lost it a bit too much, I guess. Let's see. I guess I have to click on it. That's how it goes. So on Wednesday, Russian energy giant Gazprom halted gas supplies to Bulgaria and Poland via the Yamal Europe pipeline for not complying with the mandate to pay in rubles. So that was 33 days they were waiting since the April 1st cutoff. So I guess they were pretty patient. And so we can see here, this is another clear sign. Russia really has so many cards in their just has a really good deck that they can't be beaten, really. You might remember, those of you who follow my videos, that was when Mars and Pluto had their heliocentric conjunction. That happened to be the day, I guess it was the 18th of April or so, when Russia showed off with that weapons test of that ICBM, which has multiple warheads. I mean, it was not it was just still in the test phase, but you have to go back to it. This is quite powerful stuff. It just showed that the West has no way of militarily keeping up to the high technology Russia has now. So Russia is really the cutting edge, which is a good thing, as I see it, as Russia is the good guys versus the all the Western nations led by the US and Australia and so England, who are really what we call the cabal. And so this war is real, and it's much more than about the Ukraine. This is really the final battle, if you want. And we are getting lots of celestial support here. Now, I want to first show you this chart. This again goes back to April 30th. That was the exact Venus-Jupiter conjunction, which many astrologers were raving about as being a real beautiful contrast in a way to what we see happening on the world stage and as so many people are going through difficult situations. This is kind of a highlight, a very spiritual energy, Venus and Jupiter, and that was exact right here at the root point of this global chart, at the 0 meridian here in Greenwich. That is in itself a very beautiful sign that we are literally planting the seed for this higher frequency of being in oneness, in this Piscean inclusiveness. I guess that's what it is. And it is a dark degree to it is within hexagram 36, which is darkening of the light. So it means we have to really find that first deep within ourselves. It is actually what's also called the light at the core of the black hole, if you want, of just being allowing to go deep within that darkness, that inner darkness, the shadow, and that is where light is born. Every black hole from the other side seen is a white, brilliant, creative energy. So it's just on one side it looks black. That's what it is. We are invited to go into this darkness and to come out on the other side. So this was exact, just again less than an hour, actually still within the eclipse period. You see the moon just at 22 minutes ahead of the sun, and the eclipse was on for 4 hours, so that was somewhere between 7 let me go back here quickly. So the eclipse was exact at 8:40, so between 6:40 and 10:40 roughly was the eclipse on. And again, if we go here back, you see this was already within the eclipse when Mercury was at that powerful spot warming up this degree. So it's all about coming down to Mercury in the end, because this seems to be the culmination in many ways. And this is on the 21st of May, so it will be a steady build up to that moment when a breakthrough will come into the public field of awareness, I would call it. That's my prediction here. So it will be a slow build up. Now let's see at the stations here we're going through. Again, that was this Venus-Jupiter conjunction, very positive, very hopeful. And then Venus entered Aries, that was on Monday. And this chart insofar is very special as it had a Moon-Mercury conjunction at the same time. Interestingly enough is that President Putin has the Moon at 2:46 Gemini in his birth chart, so he had a lunar return just with Venus at 0 degrees Aries. This in itself is a beautiful synchronicity again, and it shows that over these next few weeks more and more people will realize that this man has good intentions, that he's doing the right thing, that we can definitely trust what's coming from his presence. He's not a god, he has his faults as everyone else, but he's definitely a very good leader. I mean, if you would pay attention, you probably would know, and some of you might know, within Russia, he has a 70% approval rate, and this has been going on for the last almost the entire 20 years or so he's been in power. So he's very well respected, loved in his country. He's truly caring for his people. And this is what the West doesn't want to let you know. So he's definitely a trailblazer for New Earth, for what's to come. He will add his share. He cannot do it alone, but he's definitely a trailblazer. So this was interesting that this was just connected with Putin. Now, now we're at today's first big flare of 1:25 p.m. Universal Time. 10 hours later, the Sun entered hexagram 2. And as I announced already in my last video, this is an important phase. This is actually the core phase of the year in a way. It's the most polarized, I would say. I guess that's the way to say, because this is hexagram 2 we are entering in, or we are now in, with all the broken lines. I should show you here as I have it here on my... Okay, where is it hiding? Here. Okay, see, that's where we are now. And this is where the Sun is in hexagram. Sorry, I said it wrongly. This is where Earth is, and this is where the Sun is. The Sun in hexagram 2 with the 6 broken lines. I enlarge it a little bit so you see it clearly. Now this is a binary code, really. See, I just want to show you the basics here. I don't want to go too deep into it, but if you look at these hexagram symbols, then all on this half of the zodiac here start with a broken line at the bottom, and on the other half all hexagrams have a solid line at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it's a little small, but you see all have a solid line here on this side, and here all a broken line. And then just show you the structure here. In the upper half of, in this quadrant, so to say, all the second lines are also yang lines, full lines, and then comes the moment here. This is the last one, which has a strong line here in the second position, and then this quadrant has a yin line in that second position. Again, this quadrant has a yin line in the second position up to here. Up to here, this is the last one, and then the last quadrant has 2 strong lines. The second one is also a strong line, and this keeps going here. Then the third line is, so it's a perfectly mathematical construct, that overlay of the 64 hexagrams. There is nothing accidental to that. So this is a really powerful structure, and shows you the anatomy of the whole zodiac, which is a Taurus, really. Everything is toroidal in the end. That's one of the most basic observations, I would say, on all levels, atomic up to galactic. Everything forms in torus fields with a plus and a minus pole, an inlet and an outlet. So this is an extremely creative phase for planet Earth between this moment and when then the Sun will enter hexagram 23, which is something like 6 days away. So the next 6 days, and that's what the starting moment looks like, and this is the heliocentric chart. Interesting here is the Pluto Vesta conjunction at the 4th house cusp. So we are going through some really deep transformations in the next 5-6 days. Not as this would be showing off in a big way, it's something really deeply internal, a rearrangement, a refocusing of what truly matters. Venus is approaching Mars here heliocentrically. There will be a Venus-Mars conjunction on May the 17th. This will be an extremely important reset moment. And then later on the 25th of May, there will be a heliocentric Mars-Saturn conjunction together with Juno. It seems what is happening right now is that more and more we are pushed as a people to the edge. Situations get ever more difficult in a way, like the gas being shut off in 2 whole countries. Guess what these people will do? They probably will start revolting against their governments, who's not allowing them to have energy. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can add 1 and 1. This is to be expected. So this will be a steady build-up, probably till about August. That Mars, Saturn, Juno is kind of an ominous sign again that shows that we are pushed into the corner as a people, and it's time to close shoulders and truly act in coherence and stop complying. Just learn to say no. That's basically what it comes down to. I also like this one here, the vertex point conjunct Uranus, and considering that within a day or so of this ingress into these 2 hexagrams of Earth in hexagram 1, the dragon, the 6 solid lines of hexagram 1, the creative, Earth, and the Sun in the receptive position. It's a very interesting polarity switch. Usually it's the other way around. We experience that the Sun is the creative force. It is that polarity switch which is particularly interesting with Uranus in this hexagram as well, hexagram 2, which is the 6 broken lines again. So this is then the flare which just happened 2 hours ago now. You see we have these 2 flares, one in the morning and X.11, which I showed you, and then this X5.3, one a little bit ahead of this ingress into hexagram 1 and 2, and this one just a few hours later. And then on the 5th, we have the Sun-Uranus conjunction. Now, I think I stop here just because I don't want to make it too long and to record a second one, and you can then at your own convenience listen or watch it a little later. So thanks for joining again and listening, and I hope you are really getting something out of my presentation. See you soon.